Hey everyone, Joe here at SportsGrid. It's time for Puck It with Joe. Let's make some money today. We've got so many games on the ice, 9 games out there. Made a huge bounce back. Some of those player props came in nicely last night, but I tell you, it was definitely a hard night on the ice. Cold as ice out there. Let's have a hot one tonight. I want to thank you guys all for being here. I see you guys coming in, and yeah, we're going to get straight to these games. So let's look at the first one here. And there's one game that I just don't want to touch. We will still go over it. It's the Chicago Blackhawks Arizona Coyotes game tonight. It is so ugly. You also look at the Stars and the Sharks game. Another ugly one. You got some big favorites on the board, but let's jump to the first one here. There's a lot of games that I actually do like, but two that I really dislike out there. The first one's the Florida Panthers taking on the New Jersey Devils. Now, we know the New Jersey Devils did fire their head coach, and we have Travis Green stepping up as the intern. We have seen history has been that when these intern coaches come in coaching changes, we see these players really step up. But do we really want to step in front of the Florida Panthers tonight? They've won their last 5 games. This team is playing elite hockey on both sides of the puck. Now, I know they're going down to their backup goalie Stolarz here, but he has a strong record. He's got a 2.02 goals against average and a 924 save percentage. So he's been playing great out there versus the New Jersey Devils here with Smid in net. We know the biggest problem with the New Jersey Devils is defensively, but mainly in goal. We're going to see the Florida Panthers be able to find the back of Smid's net tonight. So let's look at odds on this one. We have the Florida Panthers at -125. Now, when this opened, they were right around that -118. So money is coming in on the Florida Panthers, and I think it's coming in on the right side. The New Jersey Devils are +104, total of 6.5. Now, juice to that over 6.5 at -115, -105 to the over. I think if you're going to take this to the over at -105, you've got to expect that the New Jersey Devils are going to score a couple. Now, I do feel like the New Jersey Devils will have kind of a little bit of more pep in their step with the coaching change on the offensive side. But you look at the Florida Panthers and what this team is able to do defensively, that I don't think it's going to be enough in this one. So when I look at a side, I am leaning on the Florida Panthers to be able to get the win. I think you can look at some of the shots on goal props here for the Devils. That being said, the Florida Panthers are second best overall in the league, holding opponents to 27.6 shots on goal per game. But if we're looking at someone like Jack Hughes, we know he's normally the player that's able to get these shots. You can take Jack Hughes for 5+ shots, so you got to take it high. It's -114, so I'm not finding the value. If you think Tyler Toffoli can get 4+ shots, and I do think we see these players that notoriously play strong for the Devils be able to find the shots in this one tonight. 4+ for Tyler Toffoli's +134. So I'd rather go with him than Jack Hughes just because we're getting the value. And it is going to be harder to get those shots tonight versus Florida. But I'm expecting some of them to come in, especially with the Florida Panthers on the second night of a back-to-back. This is their last game on the road of 3. They won the last time versus New Jersey Devils in a 4-3 style game. And I think this is probably a 4-2 one. Not going to lie, I really do think the Florida Panthers could even come in and cover that puck line. This team has just been playing so fantastic on both sides of the puck. One thing I'm going to look at, though, is that first period over 1.5. I expect this one to start off kind of with a bang. You know the New Jersey Devils are going to be trying to impress a new interim head coach here, Green, and I do think that we see maybe 1 goal out of the Devils in the first period, maybe 2. I expect 2 more likely out of the Florida Panthers, but I do expect 2 goals in that first period. So the over 1.5 in the first period is -132. I do think the game probably slows down after the first period. I expect that fast first period there. And I'm looking at the goal in the first 5 minutes. The goal in the first 5 minutes is coming in at +160. Now, if you're looking for goal scorers here for the Florida Panthers, Sam Reinhart's been absolutely fantastic. The books know it too. You're going to have to pay, or you're getting +140 on him for the anytime goal, and Sam Bennett at +290. And you can't go wrong with Matthew Tkachuk at +170. Timo Meyer, someone else to look at for the Devils, but I do think this Devils team brings something tonight. Yeah, an assistant, and he was there already. So What are we really going to see? With coaching changes, we do see these players step up. But you're going with the New Jersey Devils, and you know what? You have been right so many times. You warned us about the Columbus Blue Jackets last night. I didn't see it. I really did think Vegas would get the win. So congratulations on that win with the Columbus Blue Jackets. You got the cover on the Coyotes and Hawks. Okay. I wish you the best. I'm not betting that game, but we will talk about that game. Columbus did win easy last night. You absolutely called that one. So let's make some money, you guys. I need to bounce back today. Yesterday was a hard one out there. I just didn't see the Columbus Blue Jackets getting it done. They are in action again today. So this is the second night of a back-to-back for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Jet Greaves is in net for them. Now, when we think of Jet Greaves, he's being called back up from the AHL. He does have a really solid record. He's gone 1-1 with a 2.52 goals against average in the 2 games that he's played for the Columbus Blue Jackets this season. So that's a save percentage of .934. He faced the Florida Panthers back in December. He saved 30 of 33 shots on net, and he faced the St. Louis Blues. Before that, earlier in December, saving 41 of 43 shots on goal. So recalled back up here. I'm not as concerned as people would be. Now, this is the first game home off that horrendous road trip for the Penguins. I know a lot of people leaning on the Penguins here. I just can't get behind them. I do think the Columbus Blue Jackets plus the 1.5 on the puck line, even though they're on that back-to-back, is the right way to go. They're going to roll in with momentum. They got that big win over Vegas 6-3 yesterday. And I think they have everything in them to be able to hang tight, at least with the Pittsburgh Penguins, if not win this outright. So plus 1.5 for the Columbus Blue Jackets, minus 125 and plus 188 if you're brave enough to take them on the money line. I can't get behind the Pittsburgh Penguins laying 1.5 at plus 104. We got a total of 6.5, due slightly to that over. Tristan Jarry expected in net. That was a hard Pacific road trip that the Pittsburgh Penguins were on, and I just really can't look at them here. They're off that loss handed to them by the Edmonton Oilers on Sunday night, and that was atrocious. I was watching the first 2 periods with my family. We turned it off in the third as Edmonton ended up winning that one 6-1. It was just brutal. This is a battle of the Metro, though. When we look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, they have won 9 of the last 10 meetings, including that meeting in November, 5-3 over the Columbus Blue Jackets. So they do play them hard. The Columbus Blue Jackets sitting 8th in the Metro, and the Pittsburgh Penguins sitting 7th. I'm going to look at Jet Greaves here, over 29.5 save shots on goal. That's coming in at minus 120. We know the Columbus Blue Jackets allow their goaltender to be peppered. They're allowing an average of 33.4 shots on goal per game. And the Pittsburgh Penguins coming in here averaging 32.9. So I do expect these shots to come. I expect tired legs defensively out of the Penguins in this one off that road trip. So I think that will be their downfall if they lose this game. Okay, let's look at the next one. Pens are the price doesn't make any sense there for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that is the problem. It's like, who wants to lay that? They're minus 140 favorites, maybe, but not at that price. Let's look at the St. Louis Blues taking on the New York Islanders. Sorokin is confirmed in the net for the New York Islanders, and Hoffer here for the St. Louis Blues. Now, these two teams did just play back on, I think it was the 22nd. The St. Louis Blues got the shutout win at home 4-0. Now, odds in this one, the St. Louis Blues rolling into New York, plus 152, minus 184 here for the Islanders, total of 5.5. Juice to that over at minus 134, which is interesting. The under 5.5 is coming in at plus 110. I would take the full game under before I would ever take this one over. And I'm going to look here. It's not my best bet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Islanders in regulation. You can bring down that price. In regulations coming in at minus 120. I do think Sorokin is pivotal in this one. His save shots on goal number is so low at 25.5 at minus 125 to the over. I'm going to hit it. Now, we know the St. Louis Blues have had struggles in some of these games getting those shots off, but this Islanders team, even under Patrick Waugh, is still allowing those shots to come in. And I know they've done a solid job in, like, one period here, one period there, limiting their opponents, but not for a full 60 minutes. So I do think the St. Louis Blues can get enough shots on Sorokin in this one that Sorokin can save over 25.5. Now that's minus 125. I'm also going to look at the Blues team total under 2.5. Under 2.5 is coming in at minus 112. When we look at the St. Louis Blues, 4 of their last 5 games, they have seen 2 goals or less. They're off that win over the Philadelphia Flyers last night. It was a 2-1 win. I really do. And that went to shootout. I really do expect this to be a low scoring battle here, especially on the part of the St. Louis Blues. Now, could the Islanders push this one to the over? They could. And that's why I kind of looked at the St. Louis Blues team total before I did take that full game to the under, because if it goes over, it's because, in my opinion, the Islanders score 4 goals in this one, pushing us over that total. Now, if you're looking for goal scorers here, I do think the points, because the St. Louis Blues will get something, it would be Jordan Kyrou that I would look at again here for the St. Louis Blues. But when we're looking at the Islanders, that's where I have the more confidence for those points to come in. Barzell and Bo Horvat, Brock Nelson also I would look at. Now, there's a road trip on deck for the Islanders. They have the Sharks on Thursday, the Ducks on Sunday, and the Kings on Monday. So when we look at that Sunday matchup versus the Ducks, it's already one that I have circled, that they have a really hard opponent in the Kings on deck. So it might be a little bit of a look ahead in that situation. When we look here at the St. Louis Blues, they have the Devils on deck on Thursday, the Rangers on Saturday, and then the Bruins on Monday. 5th in the Central here for the St. Louis Blues, and 4th for the Islanders. I think the Islanders get this one done. Give me the Islanders and reg. I think that is the best bet. Sorokin is so phenomenally talented, and he all of a sudden lets the easiest shot go in. It's got to be so frustrating for him as well. Whoever takes Florida today will lose money. I'm iffy on that one for sure. It's going to be a hard one there for the Devils to win it, but you called the Columbus Blue Jackets yesterday, so I could see it happening because you've been straight on the money. Islanders are rolling. Yeah, and that's my problem. I just don't see the Devils all of a sudden having the success in goal, especially versus the Florida Panthers. So Isles for the win. Let's get the Isles for the win. They better not push it to overtime and win in overtime. Nothing more frustrating than taking a team in regulation and then having them lose it or win it in OT. Let's look at the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Boston Bruins. Now, there is major road ice advantage here. The road team has won the last 7 meetings between these two. We know Boston rolled into Edmonton, got that 6-5 win in late February there. Now, the Edmonton Oilers have won the last 3 meetings in Boston. And like I said, the road team has won the last 7. I do think Edmonton has the ability to get this win. Do I love the line, though? And this is my problem with this one. You look at the Edmonton Oilers, we're going to have to lay minus 134 on the Edmonton Oilers on the road. Everything points to the home dog in the Boston Bruins when I look at this line at plus 112 because it's the Boston Bruins. We've taken them in certain circumstances as the underdog at home, and we've been successful, and we bet against them as the underdog at home and being successful as well. I just don't want to lay minus 134 on the Edmonton Oilers here. So how are we going to make money on this one? Well, I think on this one, we look at that first period over 1.5 at minus 128. I know we're laying juice there, but we look at the last 3 games. We have even seen in the 3-2 style games that have finished that way, we've seen 2 goals in that first period. So both of these teams looking to get off to a fast start, get those goals in the back of the net in the first period. We've got Skinner and Allmark as the goaltending matchup here. Now, I'm also going to look at Connor McDavid. I think Connor McDavid for 2+ points in this one. He knows he's facing the Boston Bruins. Pasternak here. I think 2+ points for Connor McDavid is a gift at plus 102. Pasternak, you can look at the 2+ points tonight at plus 128. I'm not completely sold on this total here, over or under that number. We've seen trends to the under when Edmonton's been able to get the win, and we've seen trends to the over when the Boston Bruins have. I'm staying off that. The Boston Bruins have been allowing a ton of goals as of late, and they're coming off that huge win versus the Toronto Maple Leafs last night, the 4-1 win. Now, that was a very physical game for them with a huge rivalry. Will they have tired legs? Absolutely, they will after playing that game in Toronto. And Edmonton is coming in rested. They haven't played since they schooled the Pittsburgh Penguins on Sunday. I'm a little leery of Edmonton. Edmonton probably gets a win, but I don't want to lay the price here. Yeah, it's Connor McDavid over 1.5 points. That's what I like. You're going to do Edmonton in regulation. Yeah, it's a hard one here with these two teams. I want the points. I want Pasternak for the points, Connor McDavid for the points, and I don't want to bet aside and the over 1.5 in the first period. Let's look at the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Nashville Predators. Now, odds on this one, the Montreal Canadiens at plus 176, the Preds at minus 215, total of 6.5, minus 122 to the under, and plus 100 to the over. Now, I would rather take this to the over before I took it to the under. Jake Allen is in net for the Montreal Canadiens tonight. We can't trust him, you guys. He allows just absolutely the softest shots in Saros here for the Nashville Predators. Now, Nashville Predators have been rolling hot. They've won their last 8, so this line absolutely makes sense. We saw what they did to the Colorado Avalanche on Saturday, which is mind-blowing. They beat the Colorado Avalanche 5-1. They're sitting 4th in the Central right now. The Montreal Canadiens sitting 7th in the Atlantic. Now, Montreal has been struggling on the season, but they are 20-10 on the road on that puck line. They're 11, 12, 2, and 5 straight up. And when we look at the Nashville Predators here, they haven't been really blowing anyone out at home. They're sitting 15-17 on the puck line at home, 15-17 at home straight up as well. I think you can look at a couple of things here for the Preds. My bet wants to be on the Preds. I was playing with taking the Montreal Canadiens team total under 2.5 at minus 118 because the Preds have been able to hold and limit opponents in their last 6 to under this number. But where do I have more faith? Well, I have more faith that Jake Allen is going to collapse tonight and the Nashville Predators will be able to get 4 goals. So the Nashville Predators team total over 3.5 is coming in at minus 122. Since they've been on this hot streak, they have been lighting the lamp, going over this number in their last 8. So they've had 4 or more goals in their last 8 games. So I do like their ability at home in this one to be able to get it done. They've won 8 of the last 10 matchups versus Montreal. And I know the last game between these two back in December was super low scoring, 2-1 game there. But again, it's Jake Allen. I don't trust Jake Allen tonight. I really do think the Preds find success. Now, we have seen Montreal be able to cover that puck line as a dog following overtime in their last 9 games in that situation. And we have a puck line record here on the road of 20-10 to be able to support the Montreal Canadiens in that puck line. But I caution you a little bit with this. What I'm going to do here is live betting the Montreal Canadiens when they go down and taking them plus 2.5 on the puck line. I feel a lot more confident in than I do at betting them on the puck line prior to this game kicking off. I want more value at least than what we're getting. I don't even know if I'll get there. It just depends on how I see both of these teams come out. If we see the Preds get a little bit of puck luck and Montreal actually looking like their head's completely in the game, if we see the Preds get off to that hot start, maybe I'll come back in on Montreal, but I'm not sure at this point. I do know, though, going into it, I'll take the Preds team total over 3.5. I'm also going to look at Forsberg for 2+ points. That's coming in at plus 215. The anytime goals coming in at plus 115. I think both are quite possible in this game. If you want to look at Ryan O'Reilly, you're getting more value on the anytime goal at plus 195. Long shot goal here by Cody Glass. Cody Glass coming in for the anytime goal plus 400. When I started looking at the odds today, he just stuck out like a sore thumb. And sometimes some of these players just do for me, and I end up betting them because of that reason. So Cody Glass, anytime goal plus 400. It is a long shot, you guys. So don't put a full unit, put a quarter unit on it if you want to. Looking at Montreal, Cole Caulfield here is plus 165. Not enough value for me for Cole Caulfield. I wanted him closer to plus 220, so I'm not getting it. But Nick Suzuki's been absolutely phenomenal for the Montreal Canadiens. He's coming in for the anytime goal at plus 210, and I'm willing to hit him at that. You can also look at him for 2+ points. That's coming in at plus 230. He's been on absolutely fire ever since Monahan got traded off. So I do think Nick Suzuki's someone, if you're looking to circle anyone from Montreal's who I would look at. But I do think the Predators can win this and get 4 goals. So let's keep going. Yeah, Cody, there's so much good value on Cody there. The total in the Nashville and Vegas game. Total in the Nashville and Vegas game. We're gonna look at that one for sure in a minute here. The Nashville plays Montreal. Vegas isn't playing tonight. So not sure which one, or maybe you're talking about when they did play. They played a bit ago. Okay, let's look at the Seattle Kraken. The Seattle Kraken are taking on the Winnipeg Jets. This is going to be an interesting one. We know the Kraken able to get that big win over Calgary last night. Calgary in that first period, I tell you, there was 2 shots on goal that they didn't record as shots. They had those shots taken back. So if you're writing any shots on goal prop, must have been a little bit frustrating. Calgary was like 10 minutes into the game and there was no shots recorded. So the Seattle Kraken on that second night of back-to-back coming in at plus 136. The Winnipeg Jets at minus 164 on the money line in total, 5.5. You're going to have to lay the juice at minus 114 to the under and minus 106 to the over. I would take this one under before I would take it over. But that being said, again, I'm circling the team that I don't trust to get the goals and taking their team total, which is the Seattle Kraken. I know the Seattle Kraken have been playing solid, but this is the second night of a back-to-back here. And they're facing the Winnipeg Jets and Connor Hellebuck. We know how strong the Winnipeg Jets have been on the defensive side of the puck, holding opponents to 2.38 goals per game on average and 29.5 shots on goal. Their kills coming in at 77.5. I want their kill to really step up here. Versus the Kraken, though, the Kraken converting on the power play at 20.7%. I'm not too worried. Now, these teams do play again on Friday in Seattle, so it will be interesting to see how they play in that one. But the Winnipeg Jets have won their last 2. They won on Sunday 5-2 over the Sabres on the road. 9 wins in their last 11 games. This team is playing hot. Now, this is a bad scheduling spot for them, though, and I have to weigh that into effect. They're home off a 3-game road trip, and then they hit the road again for 2 nights. And those 2 nights, the first night is against the Seattle Kraken in Seattle, and then Saturday versus the Vancouver Canucks. So if I'm looking at this, I really do think between the home and road opportunities here for these teams, road and home, home and road, depending on which team we're talking about, I think Winnipeg can take the first win. They probably lose on Friday, and then, well, because they've got the look ahead for the Vancouver Canucks on a Saturday. So I do think it would be a prime spot for the Kraken to be able to get the win on Friday versus Winnipeg. That being said, they'll be home off the road trip. So it's going to be a tight battle in both of these games. Joey Decord is expected tonight in net for the Kraken. So we'll probably see Grubauer, and he played absolutely excellent last night versus Calgary. The Kraken on that puck line as an underdog this season are 17-7 on the puck line as an underdog. That being said, that puck line of value plus 1.5 is minus 178. So not somewhere that I can get in this one. I'm just going to take the Kraken's team total under 2.5. It's coming in at minus 128. I do think both of these teams is kind of a defensive goaltending battle here, and one that I think the Jets can get the win. I just don't like the price on the Winnipeg Jets minus 164. I can't get behind. So I think this is a 3-2 style game for the Winnipeg Jets. I'd take it under that 5.5. But I do have more faith in the Seattle Kraken staying under the 2.5. Okay, let's look at the next game here. And this is my stay off game. The Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Arizona Coyotes. And I know the Coyotes are in Mullet Arena, and it's a place where I've liked to bet them in a lot of situations. But something's telling me that the Chicago Blackhawks are absolutely terrible. But could they roll in and kick butt today over the Arizona Coyotes? Absolutely. Anything can happen. And when we're having to lay so much on the Arizona Coyotes, I can't get behind it. Let's look at these lines here, you guys. They're disgusting. Minus 265 on the Coyotes. So that puck line, laying 1.5 on the Coyotes is minus 106. Should they be able to come out here and do what they did the last time versus Chicago? And that they won it 8-1. Absolutely. The Chicago Blackhawks completely struggling out here. But do I have any value in the Arizona Coyotes at -1.5 at -106? No, I don't. So if you're looking to back the Arizona Coyotes, I'd look at extended puck lines. Would I feel comfortable with it? No, I wouldn't, because I do think the Chicago Blackhawks, they got to win sometime. That total of 6.5 +106 to the over and -130 to the under. I would go over before I went under any day. The home team has won the last 5 meetings between these two teams. Second night of a back-to-back here for the Chicago Blackhawks as well. Sondra Bloom expected in net, and Connor Ingram here for the Arizona Coyotes. This is a battle of the Central. Chicago sitting 8th and the Arizona Coyotes sitting 7th. They play again on Sunday in Chicago. 4-25-1 is the road record for the Chicago Blackhawks this season. The Arizona Coyotes sitting 15-14 in Mullet Arena, 12-17 on that puck line. But Chicago Blackhawks even uglier on the puck line, 9-20. Stay off game. I'm just staying off it. If you guys want to bet it, I lean to the Arizona Coyotes extended puck line. But could I see a storyline where Chicago breaks their losing streak and gets a win? Absolutely. So I'm not touching it. Arizona priced with this backup goalie. Chicago, lay Coyotes in regulation and Mullet. Yeah, I love the Coyotes in Mullet Arena. I don't feel easy about this. We got 9 games on the board. I'm not touching it. Yeah, Arizona just not worth that price. Sunday, I believe. Chicago, Arizona. Yeah, it is on Sunday, Kelly. So we will see. Am I crazy for liking the Blackhawks? No, I don't think you're crazy for liking the Blackhawks. We know the Arizona Coyotes can give up these games. They've lost their last first 5 periods at home. So if you're looking for an angle to bet against the Arizona Coyotes, maybe the Chicago Blackhawks in the first period, since the Arizona Coyotes have struggled in that first period at home in Mullet Arena with their opponent winning the last 5. When we look at the Arizona Coyotes, they have the Minnesota Wild on deck on Thursday and the Red Wings on Friday, and Clayton Keller. Biggest exclamation mark on this is day to day with an upper body injury. If Clayton Keller isn't hitting that ice, and we know that 100%, I'll put a little sprinkle on the Chicago Blackhawks. Come on. I can't get behind them without him. So we'll see. I don't know if I can take anything in this one. Let's look at the next game. This game is going to be absolutely fantastic. We have the Vancouver Canucks taking on the LA Kings. I'm going Kings all the way in this one. Okay, let's look at the lines. The LA Kings are -110, the Vancouver Canucks -110. 5.5 is that total, and a -130 to the over and +106 to the over. Elias Lindholm talks of him being a trade piece. We know he was just acquired from Calgary. Now there's talks that he's a trade piece to the Boston Bruins. We know the trade deadline is on Friday, March 8th. There's so many moving pieces. I do think if Vancouver is looking to trade him off to the Bruins because they're looking for someone else, I don't know. I think this is a nice place to fade Vancouver. Let's look at what we've seen. So Cam Talbot expected in goal. I love what we saw out of Cam Talbot in February. He is very much like Igor Shesterkin, where both of these goaltenders had absolutely fantastic Februarys, but rough January. So looking at Cam Talbot here, his overall season record is a 2.46 goals against average and a 916 save percentage. The past 2 games, he's stopped 53 of 55 shots on his net. So he's been absolutely phenomenal out there. In the month of February, he had a 1.86 goals against average and a 938 save percentage. So I do expect him to be able to stop the shots coming at him from the Vancouver Canucks. Now, that being said, I'm not going to take a save shots on goal prop for Cam Talbot today because he does get so much support from the defense of the LA Kings. This defense has the second best kill in the league at 86.2%. They're only allowing 28.3 shots on goal per game and 2.62 goals on average per game. The Vancouver Canucks only averaging that 28.2 shots on goal. Their power play converting at 22.8%. So while I do think Cam Talbot is going to have a phenomenal night, I just think the defense gives him the support and we won't see him go over that save shots on goal prop. I do think the Kings are the right side. They've won the last 3 games, including the win on February 29th, which was just, last week, 5-1. I think this is another game they can get things done. Demko and net for the Vancouver Canucks tonight. Now, the Vancouver Canucks won their last game versus the Anaheim Ducks 2-1. And yeah, they beat the Ducks, but they should have done a lot better in that one. Demko's got a 2.55 goals against average and a 914 save percentage. This team has looked shaky as of late. Now they're sitting first in the Pacific and the LA Kings sitting fourth. Battle the Pacific here, you guys. It is going to be fantastic out there. I'm not going to take any player props, but if I was going to look at player props, Trevor Morris plus 240 for the LA Kings for the anytime goal. Kopitar at plus 210 and Fiala at plus 180 would be who I would circle. JT Miller has been hot for the Vancouver Canucks. I'd look at his shots on goal at 3+, but you're getting risky taking that. It's coming in at minus 118, so you're having to lay the juice. And like I said, the Kings don't give up many opportunities. The shots that come in from Vancouver that do go in, I think they're super high danger shots that will be able to convert in this one. So I'd look at Elias Pettersson here for those high danger shots to find the back of Cam Talbot's net. Okay. We've got one game left, and then I'm going to read your comments. The Dallas Stars taking on the San Jose Sharks. Do we have to bet this one is the question. No, we don't. Minus 430 for the Dallas Stars, who almost lost the last time these teams played just a couple days ago. Plus 330 here for the San Jose Sharks, total 6.5. Minus 132 to the under and plus 108 to the over in this one. Jake Ottinger is expected tonight for the Dallas Stars, and Kokkonen expected here for the San Jose Sharks. Now, he's off a fantastic game versus the Minnesota Wild. If you guys didn't watch that show with me when we were breaking down that matchup, he originally got his start with the Minnesota Wild. He recorded 31 wins for them in 3 seasons. So that was his first game home versus, well, not home, but back into Minnesota versus his former team as a Sharks member, which he was traded to by the Minnesota Wild. So he had a fantastic game. He saved something crazy in that one, 33, 34 shots. His number, though we knew it, his number by the books was like 30.5, which is so high for a San Jose Sharks goaltender. So always something to look at when you're looking at lines that are like, why is that so high? The books absolutely knew why it was so high. I wish I had taken extended save shots on goal in that one because he did come out phenomenally strong. They did lose that one though, 4-3, but he played a heck of a game. If I had to bet a side in this one, I'd take the Sharks plus 1.5, but I hate it. I think you're just not getting the value. Plus 1.5 at plus 134 to put your money on the San Jose Sharks. If I was going to do anything for the Sharks, I would just sprinkle straight up on the money line. They almost won the last one at plus 330. They won the first period of the last game. So if you want to look at that first period, Anthony Duclair here for the San Jose Sharks coming in at plus 300 for the anytime goal. I would take this one to the under way before I took this to the over. When we look at the Stars and their look-ahead situations, they have the Ducks on Friday. So the Ducks and them played a tight game the last time they played, but then they have the Kings on Saturday. So the Stars win this one here, I could see them losing maybe to the Ducks on Friday. What I'm going to bet in this, and that's all I'm going to bet, is I'm going to look at Rupe Hintz here for the anytime goal at plus 170 and Jason Robinson for the anytime goal at plus 155. Who do I feel more confident in? Jason Robinson for that anytime goal at plus 155. I don't want anything else to do with anything in this game. So I just find some of these games, we're looking at minus 430 here for the Stars. It's just unbettable, in my opinion, unless you're taking the dog. So if you think the Sharks can come out, will I put $5 on the Sharks? I don't know. We'll see. That first 5 minutes of that game will tell us what we need to know in that one. Yeah, and I could see the Sharks in that first period. Lean Dallas, but that juice. Yeah, the juice is just absolutely brutal. Demko isn't looking great. I completely agree with you, Doug. I think Demko is getting exhausted out there. We know the step down from Demko to Casey DeSmith is huge, and Demko is getting the majority of these starts. So got a feel for him out there. They're going to have to start resting him here shortly. They're sitting first in the Pacific in a matchup like tonight. versus another team in the Pacific, they really can't rest him. But I do think we're going to start seeing Demko rested more because he's just allowing way too many shots to go in as of late. The Vancouver Canucks, ever since coming out of that All-Star break, just haven't looked like themselves. So you guys, that is everything today. Thank you so much for joining me here for Puck It with Jo. Make sure you go over and check out the SportsGrid app. All the links are above and below. You can download it for free at the App Store, the Google Play Store. There's so much on there you don't want to miss out. I will be on Game Time Decisions at 7:25 Eastern. So come on over, join myself and Kevin Walsh as we talk more about this hockey slate tonight for my best bets in every game. You guys have already got them here, but I wish you guys all the best. Thank you so much for joining me here. Seth Jones. You know what? We hit Seth Jones yesterday for that anytime goal. I would look at Seth Jones again. And thank you so much for bringing that up because I wasn't thinking about Seth Jones. He was plus 800 yesterday for the anytime goal. Looking at him tonight, if he's anything over plus 500 for the anytime goal, I really do think you look at players like him that are on the trade talk bubble where people are thinking about if he will be moving. He's looking to showcase his skills. Same with Clayton Keller, and that's the thing. Clayton Keller is a question mark for the Arizona Coyotes. So definitely look at those. Purdue at the plus money tonight. You can't hate Purdue. March Madness right around the corner, you guys. So excited for it. We're going to start doing some more shows in different sports. Let me know which ones you want the most, and we'll make it happen. You guys? Yeah, Clayton Keller is injured. He's listed as day-to-day. We're not getting it. Seth Jones is expensive. Yeah, he absolutely is. Okay, you guys, thanks so much. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Only 3 games on the slate tomorrow, so it will be a very quick show, but I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Trade deadline is Friday. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Jacob Markstrom, not impressed with what is happening with ownership. And I tell you, Ryan Huska there of the Calgary Flames, his hands are getting tied. There's going to be a lot of drama coming around everything. The Leafs are talking. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw some huge moves out of some of these teams. But you guys, I'll catch you tomorrow. Have a good one. Enjoy tonight's action.